We've got Josie Gibson in the studio. Josie is here because we're not here to talk competitions, Josie. We're not here to have a lot of fun and laughing about, which you do so well.
Oh,
but there's something very close to Josie's heart, and that is her brother. Her brother, Harry Mook, and his wife, Jessie, both suffer from hearing loss. And the thing about all of this is that they rely on lip reading, on mouth patterns, and the fact, Josie, that people now have to wear face coverings is making this not only difficult but virtually impossible.
Well, imagine, we are so privileged to be able to still communicate even though we wear a face mask. Imagine going into a shop and just totally be cut off from everybody in that shop. They not only use it, lip reading, as to communicate, but they use this whole bottom part as expression. So they don't know when people are trying to talk to them, when people are trying to get their attention. They don't know how people are feeling. They would not know the emotion of that person because they're just so cut off from that person. And everywhere we're told, you know, wear masks, save lives. But we've forgotten about this community. That is, these masks are making their lives a living hell. And
this hurts you. I mean, you say this a living hell. You've had to witness your brother. You've had to witness reaction that he is getting. How does it make you feel?
Well, we went to a restaurant the other day and we kept our distance from the guy that was sitting us down. And I said, look, I was just about to explain, we haven't got masks on because you're going to tell me what's going on and I'm going to tell my brother what's going on because he lip reads from me. And they were like, well, you've not got masks on, you're going to have to get outside. I said, well, we've got the kids with us, it's raining outside, you'll have to explain to him outside. So we thought, don't worry, we'll go somewhere else. We went to 3 places. By the end of it, I was absolutely drained, and that was me. Imagine what my brother's feeling. He's going out about in his daily lives, even to take the kids to the school. They can't even have a conversation with the other mums. They don't know what the person is saying at the checkout till. They've got no form of communication, and these people, the deaf community, has been forgotten about during this pandemic.
You say this lanyard.
Yes,
apparently, if you wear a lanyard with these sunflowers on, this says, look, you have got a reason to make you face-covered exempt.
So I went on a train, this was on Wednesday, and I met this amazing train manager, Heather Underwood, and she told me, and I know we've done a piece on it this morning, and she told me about the sunflower lanyard. I did not know anything about this. And I said to Harry, why haven't you got a sunflower lanyard? He said, I didn't know about it. He said, well, I can't hear the radio unless I'm not concentrating on subtitles on TV. I'd never know. And I said, get yourself one of these. So when you're out and about, you wear the sunflower lanyard. People recognise that sunflower, and then they stop asking you, why are you not wearing a mask? Because you've got to think, people are coming up to them like that, no form of communication. Asking them why they're not wearing a mask.
So there's the lanyard and there's the bracelet, which you can show people you're exempt. You say about how your brother feels, and he and his wife, Harry, and his wife, Jessie, have very kindly done a video which you voiced for us, because obviously they're signing, to say exactly how they are feeling. So let's have a look at that.
Masks are impacting our life because we can't communicate with other people. I have to take down my mask and remind people that I am deaf and I need to lip read. Sometimes they refuse to take their mask down, and that's frustrating for us. We just have to get on with it, but we shouldn't have to. It's hard to go out and do things. For example, I have to wear a mask to drop my girls off to school. It feels lonely not being able to have a chat with other mums because we all have to wear masks. Going to the shop, I don't understand staff because they are wearing masks and I can't tell if they're talking to me. We rely on lip reading and sign language, so it's difficult for us. We are fed up having to explain ourselves why we aren't wearing masks and having to explain that we are deaf and we rely on lip reading.
I've got to say, I'm so proud of my brother and his wife for that. They were so nervous, and they have given the forgotten... I believe that, you know, the deaf community have been quite forgotten about during this pandemic, and they've just given them a voice, so I could not be prouder of them there.
Let's see, because our next guest, you know, he's doing his best, and he's an MP, he's a Conservative MP, and his name's Alec Shelbrook. And, Alec, you also suffer from a hearing impairment, and you know what Josie's talking about here, because there was a time you were sitting in the Commons and you were accused of not concentrating, of sleeping. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that was a real disappointment to me. I am not deaf, but I have impaired hearing. And in a loud environment, I find it very difficult to hear what's going on. And obviously in the Commons, you can't be lip reading, etc. And by the way, I'm no expert in lip reading, but what I've discovered is that subconsciously you do it a lot. And in the Commons, I had my ear down to the microphone, to the speaker, and I blinked, and that frame was frozen, and somebody said, "Oh, he's asleep." That was really upsetting, and it was just a blink. But, you know, it's the rough and tumble of politics, but I was very upset by it. But what's happened in the pandemic, for those of us, as I emphasise, I'm not deaf, but I find it very hard to hear in a crowded room. And I've realised that if I'm not looking at somebody's lips, I actually find it very hard to hear them.
What about people? Josie's talked about her brother there. They were asked to leave a restaurant because they wouldn't allow him not to wear the mask, even though Josie had explained that he was deaf. Have you had constituents there in West Yorkshire who are telling you similar stories? Can you explain to people what is the situation for people who are exempt? Because they are allowed to not wear a mask, aren't they?
Yes, you're absolutely right. I haven't had many constituents come to me about it, but I think what's very important about the law is that you are allowed to lower your mask. I mean, keep 2 metres apart. Obviously, keep that social distancing in place. But if someone is struggling to hear you, you are allowed to lower your mask to communicate with that person. There's a whole range of exemptions, and it's in the law. I was actually on the delegated legislation about face masks that had to be renewed, and it is listed in there that in order to communicate with somebody who may need to see your facial expressions or see your lips moving, you are perfectly entitled to lower your mask. Obviously, we want people to maintain social distancing, only keep the mask down for the time that it's needed to communicate. But, you know, I was delighted to come on your show this morning and do this, because I think this is a great platform to say to people that everybody wants to do the right thing. They're trying really hard to do the right thing. And there are times when it's perfectly acceptable for you to lower that mask and be able to communicate with people. Hidden disabilities really are a big problem.
Yeah. Trying to explain that to somebody, though, when, you know, to lower their mask has been really difficult. And Jessie even said there that sometimes people have refused to lower their mask. So this is why this sunflower lanyard, if we could start to recognise this and draw attention to this, is brilliant. And, you know, I can understand people seeing other people and they've not got a mask on. You think, well, you're putting my health at risk. But if they just recognised this sunflower as somebody with a hidden disability, they might, you know, not ask questions and leave them alone.
And Alec, were you aware of the sunflower lanyards and bands?
No, I wasn't. I've learned a huge amount just in the 24 hours we've been arranging this interview. And, you know, it's funny because it was something I raised in the debate about struggling to communicate without reading lips. And I hadn't really found out just how big a problem it had been, because I assumed that people would be able to ask somebody to lower their mask and they'd do it. And, you know, hidden disability has such discrimination around it. And I just think that having wristbands and lanyards that will recognise to people that there is an issue is such an important step, because generally the vast majority of people not only want to do the right thing, but they want to help out their fellow citizen. Yeah. They want to be good, kind people. And I think that, you know, what we're doing today hopefully really says to people, you know, there are circumstances and it's perfectly acceptable for you. Just please maintain social distancing when you do it, to lower that mask and communicate with people.
Josie, last word with you. What, excuse me, what would you like to say to people, you know, who might think of going up to somebody and saying, you know, why haven't you got a mask on, or refusing to lower their mask if somebody asks them to?
Well, I'd like to just say, like, have a look, see if you can recognise this sunflower lanyard, because that's very important. And two, before you go up to someone, they're not choosing to not wear a mask to put your health at risk. There may be underlying disabilities there that you might not be aware of. So just really think before you go into somebody's face and ask them why they're not wearing a mask, because it's so frustrating for them. And they're so drained on a daily basis, having to explain themselves again and again and again.
Well, Alec, that's more work for your inbox to raise awareness for the sunflower lanyard, how to get them, who qualifies, where to get them, all that sort of thing. Good luck with what you're doing, Alec, to try and raise the profile and the attention for all of this. Very good talking to you. Alec Shelbrook is the MP for Elmet and Rothwell. Thank you. Josie
Where
Gibson.
do we get these, actually?
Well, you can get them online.
Online,
Yeah, so
okay.
yeah, if you've got a hidden disability, you can get these online. But thank you so much for drawing attention to this, because we only just found out about it. So if this helps other people, then it's great.
We'll put the details of where you get this on our website, because I
Thank
think it's
you.
really important. That none of us knew about this until you told
didn't.
us.
Yeah. Thank
Now,
you so
listen,
much.
No. Thank you so much for doing it. We love you so much. It's lovely to see you inside, not being rained
Warm,
upon,
yeah.
bitten,
Dry clothes.
mauled, whatever. Put on a helter-skelter. So later
Lovely to
on,
be
what are you
here.
going to be doing later on?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to be giving you a demo. I'm going to be showing you how to have the best Halloween at home.
Right. The thing is, we mightn't recognise her when she comes back, but she's going to look different.
But it'll
She's
be
gonna
safe.
Look different. Thank you. Thank you to your brother Harry
Yeah.
and his
thank
wife
you.
as well.
And Jessie,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Cheers.